Okay, so just a quick modular update. So I'm just building some modular sections for my environment. So, and I've given you the key press monitor up here. So, obviously you want to keep all these the same size because you are going to be snapping them together and we're going to be creating a floor block. So we can see these have got some depth to them. So just a couple of things that may help. So if you press Ctrl D, you can obviously copy these. So from the perspective of adjusting the textures, if I wanted to change the bricks to a window, for instance, so we can go to face mode and just select the faces inside here. Okay, so and so if I go up to the UV editor, which I've got open in the top window, so I'll just drag this down if I can get hold of it. So we can see here that it's showing me the selection here in the UV editor window, which you select obviously from up here, this one here. So what I can do here is it's the same controls as it is in the main window. So you've got your Alt and your middle mouse to scroll about, pan about. So I can move the actual shell. So we've got a UV shell here, so I've got all my textures on one page, which helps obviously. So you can see that I'm dragging some of the vertices with me. So what I want to do there is I want to, if I can find it. So you want to create a UV shell, so that then detaches that, so you can basically move that around anywhere now. And so you can choose where you want to. What texture you want to use. So let's say I want to use this face. And so that's it basically. So you know you can make sure that you that as long as you're cutting and creating a new UV shell, you can just put whatever you want in the middle there. So that's quite a useful tip. Other than that, so if we go and have a look, obviously you want to make sure all of these are the same size. So I've got my grid is on silly settings, but at least it's snapping to the grid. So this, we can see this is a new piece that I've just created, so I've just made a new piece here. I'll quickly show you. So this is a piece of flat wall that I need, probably don't need the back on it, but I'm just using this as a template piece. So we can see this isn't the same size, so it snaps into the grid here as this is. So I can compare it. I need this to be the same width as this one here to be the same width as this, so that it all snaps together. So we can see at the top here that this isn't snapping to the grid the same as this one. It's not the same height. So there's probably plenty of ways of doing this, but basically the way that I do it is if I go to vertex and then we just grab all the top vertices here, and then we can snap them. So that is snapped in, yeah, that's fine, that's the same height. So obviously we want to check the width as well. So and the other thing we do want to do, which I forgot, is we want to, if I go to vertex snap, I want to make sure that the minute we've got the pivot set up here for some unknown reason, let's go to object mode. So actually we haven't got the pivot set up there. So you obviously want to keep your pivot down the bottom left, so that you can snap these things together. So if we're in vertex snap mode, I can then just, that'll snap it automatically to that vertex there. So let's just turn that off so I can actually move it. Let's just put it back on grid. So let's just check the height. So let's just move it down a bit and move it across a bit, and so that's the same width now. That's good. So height wise, let's just check it. We've checked the height, haven't we? I apologise, it's the width I'm looking at. So width wise, yeah, it's all snapping to the same grid points. Yeah, that's fine. And the other thing you can do is you can put this on X-ray mode, so that we can see if I can do it properly. There we go. So you can see what's behind it. It's sometimes it's more more confusing than it is helpful, but just so that you know it's there. So let's move that back out there again. It's actually that one I want to be moving. Another thing is, this is really important, so when you're creating a new, so I'm creating this as a facade, so what I want to do is, in fact in this case I probably do want to put on the x-ray, so I can see that I've started putting subdivisions in so that we can start manipulating elements of this. So to create subdivisions we want to go to our edge mode, and then what I can do here is if I go over to my modeling tools I can go connect, and then what will happen is it'll give me a subdivision right across the middle there. So if I press enter, then that'll put it in place, and then we can obviously move that around. So you see we can move this around. I've still got snap on, so we can move this around, but the really important thing here, and probably the final tip, is you want to make sure you've got your preserve UVs on. This won't work if you're actually changing the geometry in your attribute editor, but this is enormously useful for just, so basically I'm creating a template here, and so what I can do is I can start, for instance, if I go to face, I can go to the correct window, so I can then extrude this in and create depth, and this is really what creating your facades is about. So I'm not going to do that because I'm using this as a template, but those are a kind of selection of tips on building modular sections. I should also point out, sorry, that to create the floor, you probably just take this edge here and extrude it out again. In fact, to create the floor I'll probably just use this block and then just cut the back faces off it. So I hope that was of some use. Thanks.